Melania, this is insane. It's an intriguing suggestion to think about. It is safe to say that we are turning into a country of more horrible legislative issues? Or, on the other hand, is our capacity to share data, some of which goes as truth, simply influencing us to seem more horrible? Whatever the case, quite a bit of what is called governmental issues constitutes legislative issues of annihilation instead of a level-headed discussion intended to figure out what is an equitable society. We have immigration laws. Mr. Obama instituted DACA, completely conceding that what he was doing was unlawful. Before this, countless youngsters were brought into the national wrongfully despite the fact that they were too youthful to possibly be in charge of the wrongdoing. They now exist, numerous in their 20s, in America in some kind of limbo, permitted to remain on the grounds that DACA illicitly gives them times of exclusions from the immigration laws. Their presence here, while not their blame, is unlawful. DACA is illicit, and Mr. Obama's usage of the program was unlawful. So President Trump is the underhanded one since he has requested the eliminating of DACA throughout the following half-year while requesting that Congress pass enactment to settle the issue. Furthermore, incidentally, the individuals who are incensed over his turn, which incorporates a large portion of the left, have chosen to get even with him for this choice by beginning a movement to deport his wife. Indeed, truly. We plainly have in the U.S. are the governmental issues of destruction. What's more, as long as the peevish radicals will condemn and assault the president with all the vitriol they can marshal, they should assault his better half too, correct? Via IJR. Trump's decision has caused a meltdown on the political left. Commenters, celebrities, former U.S. presidents, and foreign presidents alike have issued scorching statements over the decision. However, one movement, in particular, has gained steam since the policy announcement. The movement to deport Melania is gaining steam on the internet. While it may be satirical, assuming that there is no reasonable probability that the First Lady of the United States will be deported, the hashtag #DeportMelania has exploded in the last few days, with over 1 million impressions since Monday, according to the analytic site, Keyhole. In the attempt to find anything to use to attack Trump, including his wife, we find that he left argument goes like this. First Lady Melania Trump was an immigrant to America. Her work visa situation is a matter of controversy and her immigration papers are locked. At best, the argument is based on a complete conjecture. However, the groups are filing Freedom of Information requests to see Melania's immigration papers. Along these lines, the left will endeavor to draw an equality between Obama, who founded an arrangement he conceded was unlawful that included maybe 800,000 people who entered the national criminally, and FLOTUS Melania Trump. Talk about desperate. Furthermore, miserable. What do you think about this? Do not hesitate and write your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for reading. HTIJR. Nailed it. Judge Janine just ripped Roger Goodell to pieces. Fox News host Judge Janine disgraced NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell on Saturday evening when she posed the inquiry, "How are you a force for good, Roger Goodell?" Goodell issued an announcement about players kneeling amid the national anthem in light of President Trump proposing teams should fire players for doing as such. Judge Janine said, "The biggest issue facing our country today is the tiptoeing and political correctness that has brought us to the brink of disaster in national security, politics and sports." She added, "Do we have the fortitude, courage and determination to stand up to those who threaten our values?" Pirro finished, "Shame on you. Shame on all of you. And shame on you, too, Roger Goodell, for not showing that you love this country as much as the president does when you had the chance." Here is the video. What do you think about this? Do not hesitate and write your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for reading. HT Sarah Palin. Brutal. President Trump just dropped shocking announcement about McCain. President Trump has at last presented some uplifting news in connection to the flagging Cassidy Graham bill. After Arizona Senator John McCain freely said he would not vote in favor of the bill, President Trump said that the bill could pass even without McCain's vote, as per the Washington Examiner. Repeal and replace. Because of John McCain, you look at his campaign, his last campaign was all about repeal and replace, repeal and replace. So he decided to do something different, and that's fine. Trump's furrow at McCain identifies with his previous campaign promises of supporting an aggregate repeal of Obamacare. As far as it matters for them, the mainstream media is trumpeting McCain as a legend for evidently killing the Obamacare bid once more. President Trump has countered McCain's threats and the expressions of the mainstream media by stating, "And I say, we still have a chance. We're going to do it eventually. We're going to do it eventually." President Trump's outrage towards McCain is just the same old thing new. Be that as it may, seeing that the Cassidy Graham charge goes, President Trump has additionally singled out other Republican legislators for their resistance to the bill. President Trump got out Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski and Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. Murkowski, after at first flagging that she would not vote in favor of the bill, came around to President Trump's state of mind. Trump wrote on Twitter, "Alaska had a 200% plus increase in premiums under Obamacare, worst in the country. Deductibles high, people angry. Lisa M comes through." With respect to Senator Paul, he stays unswayed by both President Trump's contentions and the points of interest of the Cassidy Graham bill. "I won't vote for Obamacare light that keeps 90% of the taxes and spending just so some people can claim credit for something that didn't happen," Paul composed on Twitter. Now, the Cassidy Graham bill, otherwise called the Graham-Cassidy bill, is a revision that would evacuate the individual and business orders of Obamacare with a specific end goal to give social insurance control back to the states. This is something that every one of us would profit enormously from, so it's basic that these commands are struck down. In any case, numerous libertarian disapproved of Republicans worry that this bill will do nothing to repeal or replace Obamacare. Others, particularly centrists and more direct Republicans, assert that the Cassidy Graham bill will increment premiums on those individuals with prior conditions. On the off chance that President Trump's promises are without a doubt genuine, at that point he has set congressional Republicans for a harmed goblet. In the event that the bill passes and it increments premiums, at that point, numerous American voters will punish Republicans by voting against them. Then again, if the bill flops, at that point this would be the third Republican Human Services bill to bomb in only a couple of months. Such shortcoming won't go unpunished by voters either. For this impasse to pass, President Trump and his supporters ought to genuinely think of some as conceivably lethal choices. 1. Give up the ghost, keep Obamacare, but do minor changes to it. 2. Let Obamacare die all on its own. Or 3. Seriously think about more radical proposals to the health care issue, which would, shockingly, request to many widely appealing Republicans. What do you think about this? Do not hesitate and write your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for reading. HT. Watch 1995 Obama video surfaces, exposes who he really is. Former President Barack Obama worked hard for the 8 years he was in the White House to distance himself from his self-professed mentor, communist Frank Marshall Davis. In Obama's book, Dreams from My Father, he refers to his mentor as only Frank. In an audiobook version that was made at a later date, Frank was taken out completely. Obama should know, anything can be recovered on the internet. Obama was on his book tour in 1995 at the Cambridge Public Library when the video was taken. He not only explains who Frank is, he talks about how his mentor schooled him about how much white people are racist. Obama explains that the portion in his book about me having a conversation with a close friend of my maternal grandfather, a close friend of Gramps, a black man from Kansas, named Frank. This was the same time a well-known poet moved to Hawaii and lived there, named Frank Marshall Davis. Obama continued, and so I have a discussion with him about the kinds of frustrations I'm having, and he sorts of schools me that I should get used to these frustrations. In his highly controversial material, Obama describes how his view of the world as a teenager was. Obama said, any distinction between good and bad whites held negligible meaning, basically saying all whites are racist. Anyone who felt that his view of the world was wrong, or said he was just being paranoid, was the equivalent to them calling Obama the N-word. Frank Marshall Davis was a former member of the Communist Party USA, who managed to accumulate a 600-page dossier of his activities from the FBI as well as place him on the Bureau's security index, which means he could have been arrested at any time. Marshall's poetry included one lovely passage where he called Jesus the N-word, as well. Melania Trump abruptly departs White House. When people find out why, they're astounded. First Lady Melania Trump departed on Saturday to lead a U.S. delegation to a sporting event in Toronto for wounded service members. It is her first foreign visit as First Lady unaccompanied by her husband President Donald Trump. The First Lady will have a full slate of events and meetings at the Invictus Games, including attendance of the opening ceremony, remarks to over 100 American athletes participating in the week-long competition, meeting with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, meeting with Prince Harry, founder of the Invictus Games. Trump will be leading a U.S. delegation that includes VA Secretary David Shulkin, pro golfer Nancy Lopez and singer Wayne Newton, the Houston Chronicle reports. Prince Harry established the Invictus Games in 2014 for sick and wounded service members from around the globe. More than 550 individuals from 17 countries are expected to participate in 12 sports during the coming week, ranging from cycling to wheelchair tennis to sitting volleyball, the Chronicle added. Trump has become increasingly active in domestic and foreign affairs after first ensuring the smooth transition to White House life for her son, Barron Trump. She helped lead a public disaster relief drive for victims of Hurricane Harvey in Houston while provoking a national debate about her footwear. In remarks delivered last week, Trump addressed members of the military who were impacted by Hurricanes Harvey and Irma. Every child whose parent serves in our great military should be enormously proud because your mom or dad is a true American hero, she said. In the wake of two devastating hurricanes, the world has witnessed your courage and compassion. And you have made every American proud. No matter what, Melania Trump is persisting. She's taking a big step forward as First Lady, and she's often doing it while wearing heels. Tim Allen reveals truth behind Last Man Standing cancellation, and calls out ABC executives. Comedian Tim Allen recently revealed the truth of what happened to his hit ABC show Last Man Standing, after it was abruptly cancelled earlier this year. Network executives cancelled the show despite having very high ratings. Many accused the network of playing politics, but they denied politics played a role in the show's cancellation. What did he say? It tore me up. Every aspect of that show, everything about it, I loved. I was grateful every day, he said recently in an interview with the San Luis Obispo Tribune. Allen explained. The cancellation was a shock because it was right in the middle of us re-upping everybody because it was the strongest year we've had. The timing seemed mean. It probably wasn't, but it just felt mean. It gave anybody on my staff little or no time to find another job. No way to know if politics played a role. There's no way that you'd ever get anybody who made the decision to cop to that. It's all conjecture. ABC dismissed a large chunk of America and its viewers with the decision, The fan base, they dismissed. The fact that it showed great diversity of thought and entertainment, they dismissed. That didn't seem to matter. I think they made a terrible mistake with a very creative project. It could have done so many things. The show was so popular because the cast respected its audience. We treated religion with respect. We treated the family with respect. Hollywood ignores Americans who don't think like them. I know they ignore them. Just watch what's on TV. Look at the crop of television shows coming out and tell me who they're trying to interest. It's a very small group that thinks it knows what's best for the rest of us. There's a huge fan base of people out there that don't need to have opinions shoved down their throat. They have their own opinions. Flashback: what did Alan say after the show was cancelled? What did Alan say about Trump? When asked how he would grade Trump's initial months in the White House, Alan said his report card is incomplete. Alan explained, "There's been a constant flood of people keeping this guy from doing his job. That is something I feel bad about. People want to crash the plane even though we're all on it." Alan's advice for America: give the guy a chance to do the job before you condemn the job he's doing. He's disappointed that Trump hasn't gotten to infrastructure. Alan's biggest disappointment is that people have not realized the potential ally and the potential resource you have in this dude, to put him on a job that he's very well equipped to do.